My name is Perry Owens. I'm from Minneapolis, Kansas. I've used the products for 6-7 years now at least. We've done a custom finishing yard and stuff. I use the cattle products in the yard quite a bit. We started with the Feel-Rite. We used that as a drench to a lot of our incoming cattle and any sick cattle that went through the chute, trying to get the gut back right. What we see with our Feel-Rite is the cattle would come out calmer and go on feed quicker. We didn't have as many sick cattle because they was going to the bunk. Stuff. We'd get them on feed quicker, and that's the key to getting everything rolling and going, is getting the cattle on feed and started right and stuff. If they don't eat, you're gonna have sick cattle. 10 days, they ain't eating 1.5% body weight, you're in trouble. And we was able to accomplish that on everything, unless they were just a bad deal. And even helped them. When Bill came out with the lung score, we started using that in the hospital on all of our sick cattle and stuff, and what we've seen on that, it enhanced our drugs, what was going on. We've done a project called Whisper, which measures the amount of damage within the lungs. The stethoscope, you can see cattle, if you had an animal, for instance, that had a lot of old lung damage and stuff, you used a 5-point system, that would be considered a 4 or a 3. A lot of those cattle, if we happen to run them through later for something, we would check them just to learn, and they was moving up the scale. In other words, we was improving their lungs. It was better than they were when we doctored them. And that's hard to take away old damage and get it to heal, but we was seeing that in some individuals. Then we also incorporated MB1 in the cattle and started using that. That really helped cut down on our repeats that was going on in the yard, made the drugs work better. It's a natural antibiotic, it's a cool product. We've used that on all of our respiratories. We used it on anything going through the chute that had pink eye. We would do 2 cc's in the eye, just squirt it in the eye, and we was seeing the pink eye disappear in any cattle that came through. If you had a lesion on the side of an animal, and we used it on some horses, naturally horses are going to get cut up once in a while and stuff. You could heal up horse cuts with it. It's an amazing product of all the possible uses with it. That was the main things we used in the yard on the cattle side of products.
When starting to implement those products, do you know how much it reduced your pulls and everything like that to sick cattle?
Being very conservative, we had to be 10% better on all of our drug deficiencies than we had before. Usually in a regiment you have a first line drug that you use, and that's your go-to drug on everything coming in. And when you use that drug and you keep it above 70% efficiency, success rates, then you keep it in the program and you don't change from it. Our first line drug, we didn't change for a long time. We was running 80-90% all the time. That's a big change in the drug industry. Usually you're swapping every 6 months because something quit working, and you go back and find the other magic bullet and use it for a while, and then it quits working. We didn't have to switch near as often to keep the regiment going, and we was healing more cattle up. A lot less repeats.
And you'd also use the mineral as well, correct?
Yes, we put the mineral out free choice on all incoming cattle, especially any high-risk cattle for sure. But generally everything got the mineral put out just to see how they would eat it and start helping getting them right. That in conjunction with the Feel-Rite coming through the chute and everything, you was getting your gut right. Then if they ate it really hard, you knew you needed to put another bag out. If it was a truckload of cattle would come in, if it was gone in 4 or 5 days, you put another bag out, and then they would start slowing down because we was also putting mineral in our rations and stuff, and they'd start getting balanced out and get to going and stuff. And that, some cattle wouldn't eat much of it, and that's fine because they was coming in good shape. You could tell by the cattle a lot, their hair coat and stuff, what was going on. They'd start shedding off better too. And mineral shouldn't work that fast, but with the probiotics and the stuff he had in there, and with the Feel-Rite that we're using, you've seen a quicker turnaround rate on that. With the Nature's Formula program implemented and stuff, we changed it. For one thing, we would just do a mass treat at the start. With the addition of the Nature's Formula products and stuff, we would not do a mass treat initially. We would wait and we'd give them the Feel-Rite going through, trying to get their gut right. And then if we had a 10% pull in 1 day or 15% in 2 days, then we would implement the mass treat program if we needed to on that. And a lot of times, cattle that we normally would have done, they didn't seem to have to do as many of them. I can't measure it because every set of cattle is different, to give you a solid number. But we had less cattle we had to mass treat and run through the system. For one thing, we knew the cattle that we were treating was going to have better response than we'd been having before. And we was comfortable relying on that in the pen rider's eyes of seeing the cattle that were sick and responding to that, knowing we was just going to have better success, trying to keep our dollars down. So we cut out a lot of mass treating that we normally would have done. And that's big dollars when you're spending 15 bucks a head for your mainline drugs or 12 bucks a head. I mean, that runs into a lot of dollars in the cattle industry in a hurry. When we mass treated, then we went with the drug and usually added the MB1 to it and the Feel-Rite. That's what we would do there. You leave them alone and you'd usually walk out of it. Once in a while you wouldn't. There's sets that come in so minerally messed up. That's what it's all about. The gut's messed up, but you got to take a lot to get them fixed. So depends on where you're starting.